Hey guys, we're back with Ryan from Alberta Skylights Elite Roofing, and today we're going to be talking again about wind warranties and why it's important for Edmonton homeowners. So, Ryan, we've been having some crazy winds and a lot of rain recently.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And what's been your experience? Like, what's been going on here?
Well, the amount of shingles, siding, and trees and everything that have been blowing off with these obscene winds that we've been having lately, it's been pretty crazy. Fortunately for us, we use the GAF line of shingles, and we have pretty good success with them. 0 blowoffs.
That's awesome. So, 0 blowoffs and your installs that you've had.
Yeah.
So, what do you do when you come to a client who they've had some shingles blown off and they're looking for just a repair? Like, how do you approach that?
Yep, absolutely. That's a pretty common thing to take and have to do a repair on a shingle. Usually it's pretty simple. If you've lost, let's say a half a bundle or a bundle of shingles, that's a pretty easy repair. We'll just go through, we'll take all the old shingles, we'll rip those off, take all the nails out, prep everything, put new shingles in there, hopefully as close to the same color and brand that you had. Sometimes those shingles aren't available anymore. We have to make concessions, but usually we can get that done in there. One thing that's pretty important if you're getting a blow-off repair is the contractor needs to look at more than just that section. So if you've gotten one side of your roof and the top corner blew off here, that doesn't mean that that's the only spot of your roof that has problems. There could be loose shingles throughout the rest of your roof, or especially right close to where they blew off. And a lot of times I've seen guys just go through there as quick as they can, fix the spot that's actually got plywood under it, and run. That's it. I'm taking my money. I'm out of here. I'm so busy. I got to get to the next one. I don't have time. If you'd spend an extra 15 or 20 minutes with a tar gun and actually seal all the shingles that are around there and do a good inspection, you might find yourself a lot of other problems that, could save a homeowner a second call out the next time the wind comes. Sure, maybe this section didn't blow off, but this one that was already flapping in the wind blows off, and now you're back in the same spot, right?
Okay, now you go out there and you do the assessment. So you do a complete roof assessment. You look at everything, you look at soft spots and whatnot. What's that conversation like to someone who thought that they were just going to get a repair, but really it's probably a good idea to go ahead and change those shingles now?
Well, a lot of times people look at the roof from the ground and they think, oh yeah, it looks okay. It's just these few shingles that are, out. But when you actually go and take a look at how that roof was installed, there's a reason those shingles blew off in the first place. Any good quality shingle from any manufacturer shouldn't be blowing off if it's installed properly. Let's just call that one a fact. More often than not, we see problems with blow-offs because the installers didn't install it properly. They've nailed too high. They didn't use the proper starter strip. They, didn't put enough nails in it. All sorts of things that people put into there. A lot of times we see shingles as they get older, especially after your roof is 10, 15 years old, the glue strip that holds those shingles together starts to fail. When that starts to fail, the wind can get underneath them easier. Off it goes, so more often than not, though, blow-offs are caused by improperly installed roofs. High nailed, not the proper starter strip. We see it all the time.
So when it comes to insurance, let's talk about insurance for a second. So people who have a blow-off, is there a way that you can help them through their insurance get a roof replacement in that event?
Well, it would really come down to what your insurance policy says. A lot of times, there's 2 terms in insurance. There's replacement value and actual cash value. And you'd really have to check your policy to see what it is. Replacement value is, as it would say, we're going to replace your roof and away you go. Actual cash value is, what's that roof worth? If your roof is 15, 18 years old, it was a 25 or a 30-year shingle, you've got damage with it, your actual cash value might be next to nothing. What's worse, once you tell your insurance company you've had a problem with your roof, they're likely to say, okay, you've got to replace your whole roof now, or we're not going to cover you anymore. You take and you put that claim in, all of a sudden your premiums go up because now you've got a claim. More often than not, a simple blow-off repair in your house, you're less than $500, right? So what's your deductible? What's the blow-off cost worth? You'd have to weigh that for yourself. If your roof is reasonably new and you've got a lot of blow-offs on there, it could definitely be worth your while to call your insurance company, especially if you've got interior damage with your home. Maybe that roof blew off and a bunch of wind-driven rain came in and flooded out one of your rooms. Well, that's a wind loss, right? That could definitely be worth it because now you're dealing about insulation, you're dealing about stipple, paint, drywall, maybe carpets, whoever knows, whatever else got in there, right? That would be a good case. But if you've just lost 4 or 5 shingles in a windstorm, you're probably better off to just pay for the assessment out of pocket, in my view.
Right. Well, that's fair enough. So when it comes to these wind blow-offs, what advice do you have for homeowners in the Edmonton region?
If you've gotten shingles that are blowing off on a regular basis, you're either looking at hand tabbing that roof to stretch out the life of it, or you're looking at replacing it. If you do decide to replace your roof, there's some really, really good shingles out there nowadays, especially the GAF Timberline with their layer lock technology. Unlimited wind speed warranty. Does not matter how hard that wind blows, you're covered. The way GAF looks at it is simply put, if the wind is so strong it's going to damage your shingles, you've got bigger problems. Your roof is probably, the whole thing is blown off, at which point you've got that issue there. So I really, really like the GAF shingle. We've been using it fairly consistently for years, like probably 10, 15 years. The amount of blow-offs I've had on a field shingle in a GAF roof system, I think maybe twice, and one of the guys didn't install a piece of wood. It didn't replace a piece of wood that should have been replaced. Literally, the shingles just flipped up because there was no holding power in that wood. That was an installer error. The shingles were still on the roof and glued together. They just literally flipped over. Replaced the wood and replaced those shingles. End of that problem. GAF makes a very, very good sealing system for their shingles. There's actually videos online where GAF has taken their roof and they've installed it on a plane. There are videos that GAF has put out where they've taken a roof and installed it with just nailing the perimeter. They did not even put a nail in anywhere in the field on that. Took and put it into a wind chamber and didn't lose a single shingle on it. Like, the adhesive strip on those shingles is crazy good.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You mentioned something about hand tabbing. What is that?
Hand tabbing. So hand tabbing, back to the process of how your shingles are made, there is a sealing strip that is intended to glue those shingles together, usually heated up by the sun, just melts them together, and that's what stops the wind from getting underneath them. When we say things like your shingles have lost their seal, we're not talking about waterproofing. We're talking about that manual, that sealing strip that glues your shingles together. It's a very important component of your roof because if that lets go, the wind can get up underneath there and blow those shingles away. Hand tabbing is the process of lifting each shingle on your roof, applying a dime-sized layer of roofing cement, and gluing your shingles back down together. So if your roof is reasonably new and it's starting to lose its seal already, that could be a process that will go about it. We see this quite a bit in a lot of new construction areas. Your house was installed in the middle of a field and the roof was done in January, and there's a bunch of snow and dust that is blown under them shingles, and that glue cannot set up anymore. It'll never seal because it's contaminated. Now your roof is always going to be prone to blow-offs. You can fix that by hand tabbing those shingles. A lot of cold weather applications, if you're getting your roof done in cold times, that sealing strip is never going to set up, at least not anytime soon. You're doing it in November, it's not going to get warm enough to set that glue up until, maybe April. So in those cases there, you can manually seal those shingles. I'm not a big fan of it as a go-to process, mainly because as a tradesman, I know that your roof is going to need to be taken apart at some point in time. A vent is going to fail. A tree is going to fall and hit on that. Something is going to happen to your roof. You wouldn't take your car to a mechanic and say, I want you to weld every bolt solid, right? You know you're going to have to take it apart at some point. When you take and you glue each one of your shingles together, you effectively are welding every nut and bolt on your car. So it's a good Hail Mary. Hey, this roof is still in okay shape. It's just lost that seal. I want to get another 5 or 6 years out of it. Let's take and do this. Let's throw a little bit of money at it. It's just a long-term maintenance at the end of life, if you will. It's not usually your first line of defense.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us on this video. If you are in need or you have some questions about your own roof, have Ryan come out and do an inspection on it, and he can kind of tell you what's going on, whether you need a hand tap or whether you need a new roof or just a few shingles replaced. He'll be able to help you out. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you guys on the next video.